So after 3 long months of basically nothing but radio silence, it appears that we finally have a brand new statement from the Blue Ridge Rock Festival, and I can guarantee you right now, it's going to be a bunch of nonsense. It's going to be nothing, just like everything else that they've released so far. But to be fair and balanced, I'll go into this with an open mind because I haven't seen it yet. This video is going to be very shoot from the hip because I was actually just outside working out in my garage and ran up here because so many of my friends started texting me, telling me, you got to go check this out. They finally released something. And we've covered this on this channel. I was at Blue Ridge Rock Festival working for a band. I don't want to recap this entire thing. If you're interested, you can check out that video. There's a lot of fantastic videos on YouTube from people that have covered all the crazy stuff that happened at Blue Ridge. But I got to imagine most of you watching are familiar with the situation. But if you're not, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival in Virginia basically canceled over bad weather. That was the official statement. But again, I was there. I saw what happened. There's a lack of food, a lack of water, a lack of sanitary porta potties. There's a lack of porta potties in general. Stagehands walked. There was weather, but it was a reason for the problems, not the reason like Blue Ridge has been saying this whole time. So again, I don't want to go over everything that happened, but I do want to read this statement with you guys in the moment and just kind of talk about this and see if they've come to a conclusion, because their last statement they released said that they were working very, very hard for you to come to a resolution, which I gotta assume means ticket refunds, but we haven't heard anything since. So let's check this out. So this is actually already kind of funny because I'm on Blue Ridge's Instagram page right now, and I'll pop all this on screen so you guys can see it. But comments are turned off on this entire thing. And as we've discussed in other stuff too, if you have to make a statement like this and you have to turn comments off so nobody can give their input or opinion or anything, it's not really a good look. It would be one thing if they were just getting trolled, but there are a lot of people out there that were at Blue Ridge that have legitimate complaints that they could be putting in here asking questions, but they can't. It's turned off. But this is 5 different slides, so let's start at the first one. The first one says, "We are extremely sorry for the delay in providing a clear resolution for 2023's partial cancellation. We know that frustrations are continuing to compound and fans deserve more communication and information from us. It has pained us immensely that we have not been permitted to do so thus far. For the first time, we have recently been given permission to issue this more complete statement." Permission from who? Anyway, okay, let's go to the next one. "Our event had the benefit of festival interruption and abandonment insurance. Receiving coverage for a claim of this magnitude takes a considerable amount of time. The firms representing the festival expect a response to the claim in the first quarter of 2024 or shortly thereafter. After the response from the insurance companies, we will provide all of you and begin the process of providing complete resolutions for everyone." So I want to pause really quick after just 2 slides and kind of just talk here about what I'm seeing. They've got to go into this more. They said, like, we finally are able to talk to you guys. I don't know what's been stopping them this whole time. Maybe like their lawyers have told them not to say anything. But, you know, I'm not surprised that they had festival insurance. I mean, most major festivals and tours do, and I assumed that's what was going on the whole time, but you can update people with what's going on while that's happening. One thing I do want to point out that this has been becoming normal in their announcements and statements. They're not using the word refund anymore like they did on their very first post where they said they're working on getting refunds for everybody. They're using the word resolution now. That's all they're saying. Like, they're going to provide complete resolutions for everybody. What is the resolution? Like, I find it interesting that, like, the word refund is not being used. Like, that is purposeful. Let's continue to the next slide. "Our insurance policy has language restricting our public announcements until the claim is settled." Bullshit. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Like, prove it. Sorry, I've seen insurance claims for bands on tour and stuff like that. I don't believe there's anything that's been stopping them in the language of their policy that is stopping them from telling people what's going on. I don't believe that at all. If anything, their lawyer has told them not to say anything. But anyways, just continue. That's just opinion. I don't have that fact, just to cover my ass, but let's continue. This is the reason we have largely been silent. It has been incredibly difficult to not publicize evidence to refute many of the reports surrounding the festival. You can't refute people's like statements of what happened. Your stagehands left. Like, if you're not familiar with this situation, like the second and third day of the festival, people started leaving, like stagehands, like the people that were supposed to help with everything. They left. There's been news reports where stagehands have spoken out about how bad it was. They had 6 porta potties for 150 stagehands that were working, and the like conditions on site were horrible. They weren't being fed. Like, it was a horrible situation, and the treatment for a lot of the bands there wasn't much better. I would love for them to try and refute a lot of stuff I've said, because a lot of the stuff that I've said, like I told you guys, I've said straight to Jonathan Sly's face at the festival. If you're not familiar, Jonathan Sly is basically the person in charge of this festival. Continue. However, we are unwilling to jeopardize the recovery of the policy for you, the fans, prejudice our rights, or prejudice the insurance carrier's rights. We eagerly await the moment when we can provide full transparency. Me fucking too, because I can't wait to see what they say. The unanticipated, sudden, and extraordinary storms, which put fans, crews, bands, and the event in grave danger, were incredibly unfortunate. The damage caused by these storms has yet to be fully revealed. Despite the time this process has taken, we have not stopped working diligently on your behalf. The moment we have the authority, we will address everything in full. This has been brutal for all of us. We continue to work tirelessly to ensure a timely resolution, there's that word resolution again, and have taken every step possible on our end to shorten the process. We fully understand the animosity that many of you have towards this situation. There is so much more to this story than what has come to light. A special thank you to those of you who have continued to support us during these hard times. Your patience and grace has been a testament to the passionate community that surrounds this event and built it to the largest on the continent. Goes without saying that we would be nothing without each of you. Signed, the Blue Ridge Rock Festival team, probably aka Jonathan Sly. It's nothing. It's nothing exactly how I said it was going to be nothing. It's them just saying a bunch of nonsense, and it is interesting that they keep saying, you, we're working for you, we're working hard for you. They're trying to make it seem like they're doing something. Now listen, I don't even know what I want to say right now, because I just find this whole thing just ridiculous. Like, even if you look at some of their past statements, like the most recent statement they had before this one was pushing the narrative that, like, it even says this decision to cancel was based solely on safety concerns caused by the weather. That is not true. I was there. I saw that the way that the team that worked at Blue Ridge, I saw the conditions they were in. It was horrible. They were flying blind. Production wasn't helping them at all. Stagehands were walking. Like, yes, the weather was a part of it. That's undeniable. But there was so much more going on with this narrative of pushing the weather. Like, of course, you're a business. You don't want to look bad. But, I mean, dude, it's not the weather. It's not just the weather. And yeah, it was their previous statement before that one that I'm looking at now that y'all pop on screen that, again, uses that word resolution rather than refunds. It even tries to bring up there's an overabundance of misinformation circulating that we will fully address in due time. Well, the most recent statement we have right now, it's been 3 months and they haven't addressed at all. They haven't addressed anything. Not only have I had a video about this, there's been other people that were there working for bands that have said stuff. There's other people that have YouTube channels that did background research, that did like a kind of documentary style thing on this. The news, the local news stations in Virginia have done tons of background research on this. Like, dude, it's mind blowing to me that for the past 3 years at Blue Ridge, Jonathan Sly and or the Blue Ridge team has had to make statements apologizing for like how bad their festival was. Like, did you know that earlier this year, there was a lawsuit filed against Blue Ridge Rock Festival from bartenders that worked there that basically said all of their tips were stolen from them by management at Blue Ridge and they were paid less than minimum wage. Like, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes with this festival that I can't believe it's still running at this point, to be 100% honest, because this is not the way business should go. And look, I know on social media and in my previous video and even on this video, I'm slamming this festival, and for good reason, because in our music industry, people need to be held accountable. And this is something that I said before, like, too many times do shady operations and people like this get away with stuff when they shouldn't. This was a dangerous situation for fans that were there. This was a dangerous situation for the bands that were there. This was a dangerous situation for the stagehands that were there. This was a dangerous and horrible situation for some of the actual production crew that worked for Blue Ridge. It starts all the way at the top of the production team and starts trickling down, man. There were some people that I worked with at this festival that tried their absolute hardest to make everything accommodating and to make everything good. And they couldn't. Like, I felt so bad for the stage manager on the stage that we were on because I could tell how overwhelmed he was that whole day. The artist relations people backstage were trying as hard as they could, and they just couldn't because nobody above them was giving them any support whatsoever. There were supposed to be 45,000 tickets sold to this because that's what the capacity was. And the local sheriff's office said that there was 50 to 60,000 sold. This whole thing reeks of somebody trying to make as much money as possible with no concerns of safety or anybody's well-being in the back of their head at all. So yeah, I am going to slam this. And I truly believe that people need to be held accountable for their actions. Like, I'll just say it right now. Like, Jonathan Sly should not be allowed to put on festivals anymore because this isn't the first time that stuff like this has happened. He's had lawsuits in the past. I'm not going to go as far as saying he's a scam artist because he's done festivals in the past. He's also a talent buyer for festivals that still exist now. It's just somebody needs to be held accountable for this, dude. Like, it's just been happening for too long. And like, I'll stand my ground on that one, man. So I'm curious to see what happens because, as they said in this statement, in due time, when they're allowed to, they're going to refute all of our statements about what happened, and they have evidence and that's going to refute everything we've said. Can't wait to fucking see it because I don't believe it exists. I don't believe there's anything that they can say that's going to refute anybody's stories that were there. The fans, the stagehands, the production teams on the lower level there, the band, stagehands, like, dude, there are too many stories that line up, you know? My guess right now, I'm just gonna call this here, like it's gone so far in the last 3 months of silence. I think you're gonna get another good amount of time of silence, and they're gonna hope that people just start forgetting about this. I don't think anything's gonna ever happen with this. I bet Blue Ridge gets their insurance money from the insurance companies for this festival canceling and weather damage and stuff like that. And I don't know if people are going to get ticket refunds because I already know right now the only people that got ticket refunds so far were people that actually filed claims with their banks about like fraudulent charges. And after a certain amount of time, you can't do that anymore. So we'll see what happens. Personally, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think they're just going to hope that all of this gets forgotten and so much time goes on that it's completely washed under the rug, but we'll see. But yeah, this was just, like I said, off the cuff, my feelings in the moment, emotions in the moment. But I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it a ton. Over on Twitch, we talk about music-related stuff a lot while I'm live. So if you want to join Twitch, it's twitch.tv/TankTheTech. I'm also on a ton of different social media. @TankTheTech is my handle on all of that. But until next time, thank you so much for watching wherever you are in the world. Be safe, be kind to each other. I love you all, and I will be back very soon with another video.